Hey, it's Mrs. Meckens. Okay, so we have been working on this idea of summarizing nonfiction text, which is so much harder than literature. And that is because there isn't a predictable set of ingredients. When we summarize a story, we know we're going to have a character with a problem that gets solved. So we just need to identify those elements and roll out a summary of the highlights. Got it. But in our last lesson, we started to recognize that nonfiction text just kind of throws information at you, and you as the reader have to figure out, well, what's the most important? And we really dove into the idea of looking for groups of related information. And when the author gives you subheads, those are natural groupings. And so look. And to summarize each subhead, whether the subhead had 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, or 8 paragraphs under it, that subhead, you need to be able to get it down to 1 sentence. What was that section about? Then the next subhead, however many paragraphs are below it, get it down. When a text gives you subheads, it is giving you built-in groupings. This is awesome. And it really helps you figure out, well, what's most important and how to write the summary. But as you know, most nonfiction text doesn't give you subheads. We don't get that text feature. That's part of what makes some text even harder. So in this lesson, I want us to look at nonfiction text that doesn't have any subheadings and figure out what are the groupings so we can then write a sentence per grouping. So it's still 2 steps. Read, collect the details to figure out the grouping, to then write a single sentence summary for just that group. And we're starting to understand that each grouping produces a sentence, and if you put those sentences together, then if the article was this long, but you have a sentence per group and you had 4 groups, you have a 4-sentence summary. And isn't that just the highlights, the most important information? Took this giant thing and whittled it all the way down to a handful of sentences. That's what we're attempting to do. But this lesson has us doing it without subheads. Okay, so we're going to up the ante a little bit, everybody, and we're going to use this resource. We looked at it last time, but we actually then just used the giant one because remember we looked at 1 subhead at a time. Okay, well, we don't have subheads. We don't know what our groupings, they're not built in. We have to figure them out. So I'm going to work off of this, and you're going to help me. Okay, so let me show you our text for today in this lesson. And we've read it. We read it before. It might have been way back in one of our first lessons when we were talking about how you have reading voice and thinking voice, and you can read different kinds of texts and take notes on all different multiple texts. Okay, so anyway, you may be familiar with this and remember it, and if not, that's okay. But if so, all right, you have a little advantage, no problem. Okay, but take note, no subheadings. So I don't have automatic groupings built in. I don't have my labels. That's going to be one of the things we have to do as a reader. We not only have to collect the details that with bullets and notes and say, ooh, that's a detail, that's a fact, that's a detail, that's a fact, but as we're collecting details and making notes, we have to start to realize what are all of these details about and then come up with our category. When you had a subhead, you started with the category and then you collected details that went with it. We don't have a category. We have no subheadings. We have to generate the categories. We have to think and infer them. We have to come up with them based on what are all these details have in common. So first we have to collect the details and then we've got to come up with a category. Okay, I'll do the first couple and then I'm going to ask you to help me. All right, so let me zoom in just so we can see this a little bit easier. Okay, and I'll read aloud. I'll read and think, and I'll jot. Okay. All right, so binge watching has its roots in the 90s with DVD sets and TV marathons. But the practice reached a new level of recognition in 2013 as Netflix and other video services experimented with original content. Okay, let me just stop. That's a super long sentence. Okay, I'm already starting to notice some keywords. I don't know what they mean. I don't know what grouping they go with, but I'm just starting to see some details that go together. And so I'm just going to start in any pie piece I want, okay? But in any oval, so I'm going to choose this oval and I'm going to start in this pie piece. And so I see DVD sets, so I'm going to write down DVD sets. I'm going to write down TV marathons, okay? Because those kind of are related, okay? They're how we got started watching lots of shows in a row, right? Binging. Okay. Netflix, that was another one. These all go together because they're all ways, types of multiple shows in a row. So that's why I'm putting them together. Okay. In the same pie piece. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to come across any more. I'm getting a little tight on space, but I can leave the oval. That's all right. But I want to try to keep everything together. That's about, in this case, the different formats that we can binge on. Okay. Let me keep going. Okay, Netflix, other video services experimenting with new original content like Orange is the New Black and offered numerous catch-up opportunities for critics' favorites. Oh, catch-up opportunities. All right, so DVD sets, TV marathons, Netflix, those were all catch-up opportunities. If somebody said this is a really good show and so, or you missed a season or next season starting. Okay. Despite its increased prominence though, there's never really been a good single working definition of what binge watching actually is. Okay. So there's never been a definition of what it is. Okay. Well, definition. Okay. So that has nothing to do with DVDs, marathons, and Netflix. Okay. So this idea of a working that it's all in the same paragraph, right? That sentence is in the same paragraph. So I'm going to leave it in the same oval, but I'm definitely starting a new pie piece with this idea of definition. So I just wrote def, okay? Never been no good ones, no good definition. Okay, got it. Okay, now, because I was in the same paragraph, that's why I put it in this pie piece. If I had started a brand new paragraph, maybe I would have started a new oval. You guys, there's not a right or wrong on where everything should go, because remember, this is a means to an end. This note-taking is going to help me get to my goal, which is to summarize. And so there's no answer. I'm not trying to figure out where everything goes exactly. I'm just trying to, in my mind, get things organized. So definition is clearly different in my mind than the places we can binge. So I'm just going to plop it here and keep going. Okay, next paragraph. The Oxford Dictionary defines binge watching as watching multiple episodes of, okay, well, now wait a minute. Dictionary, definition. I'm getting a little more here. Binge watching as watching multiple episodes of okay, I'm writing down multiple episodes because that's part of the definition. Multiple EP, I know what I mean, episodes, okay, of a television program. Rapid succession, I'm jotting that down because that's part of the definition. Rapid succession typically means of DVDs or digital streaming. Dictionary.com takes a much broader stance on what types of entertainment can be binge watched, and it suggests that it happens without ever getting up. Oh, part of the definition, multiple episodes, rapid succession, not getting up. All of this is part of a definition pie piece in my mind. See how I'm grouping? And I just keep going until I've run out of details. And then I'm going to start my next grouping. Let me keep going here. And it suggests it happens without ever getting up. To watch multiple videos, episodes in one sitting over a short period of time. That's all part of the definition. Short period of time. Got it. Okay, so what we're working on here is just collecting related details per pie piece. That's what we're trying to do. So help me with the next paragraph. Okay, so we're going to start this next paragraph. And I don't know where we're going to write it, and I don't know what we're going to write. I don't know until I read. Read, think, read, think, read, think. So I'll read. You help me think. Trend stories about binge watching rarely get any precise numbers because the minimum number of episodes does not distinguish between hour-long dramas or shorter sitcoms. Okay, so this paragraph is talking about what counts as binge watching. Again, the definition doesn't have precise numbers, doesn't have minimum number of episodes. Where would you put that? Is this a new piece? Is this part of a piece we've started? What do you think? Yeah, it's still talking about the definition, right? Number, minutes, numbers of episodes. So I'm just gonna drop down or jot down the number symbol, number of episodes, number of minutes, okay, and put a question mark because it's hard to define. Got it. All right, so now let's keep going. Joris Evers, the director of global corporate communications for Netflix, says over email that in the vast majority of experiences, the "Are you still watching" prompt appears after 3 episodes. Okay, now wait a minute. You know what I'm talking about, that "Are you watching" prompt? I think I got a picture of it right here. Yep, there it is. Are you still watching The Office or whatever show it is, Grey's Anatomy, whatever? Are you still watching? Okay, so that box, does that have anything to do with DVD sets, marathons? No. The definition itself of binge watching, remember we can binge on TV shows. It's not all Netflix, Hulu, all of those kinds of things. We're talking about a whole new pie piece here. We're talking about a whole new category. And since we started a new paragraph with this, let's start a new oval. Again, you could probably put it there, but let's just start a new oval here. Okay. And I'm just going to do the "Are you watching" box. Okay. So I jotted that. Are you watching? Okay. All right. Let's keep reading and decide what, if anything else, we want to write in that pie piece or start a new pie piece. The show freezes and is replaced by a dull gray little dialogue box. All right. Stop. We have "Are you watching?" When does that happen? What detail did you pick up? The show freezes. All right. So I jot down show freezes. I would use bullets just to it gets messy. Keep it all together. Okay. Dull gray little dialogue box. All right. I got the box, gray box. Got it. Okay. Offers a continue watching button to click. Is that part of the "Are you watching" box? Yes. So where are you going to put it? In the same pie piece. Yes. So continue watching. And I'm just going to put that in quotes so that, the click it. Otherwise, the freeze continues indefinitely. All right, next paragraph. Regardless of its intended effect for some viewers, it actively incorporates the element of guilt into the experience. Stop. What is that sentence about? Is it about the "Are you watching" box and the freezing of your show? Well, it's related, but is it directly about it or is it hinting at something else? Look at that sentence again. Regardless of its intended effect, incorporates the element of guilt. Yeah, guilt. It's related, but it's not about the box itself. Now we're talking about the viewer having guilt. So I'm going to jot a new piece, that detail in a new piece. The autoplay function is responsible for most of my binge watches, notes social media editor Chris Heller. If it'll keep playing, I'll probably keep watching until it asks me to make a decision. Okay, so "Are you watching" box, right? Continue watching. I could probably put "making a decision" in there because that's related. It definitely doesn't go with guilt, but it's more about the box. So see how we're putting these together? All right, let's keep going. The "Are you watching" prompt that appears after a while, it's Netflix shaming. You've heard that word before. Guilt. Yeah. So what are we going to write in that pie piece? What key detail? Netflix shaming. All right. Got it. Netflix shaming. After that, I shut it down, try not to think about how my TV just judged me. You have anything else? TV judged me. Good. And it goes in that same pie piece because it's all about the guilt, the feelings, the judgment. Okay, good. All right, we're almost done with this article, you guys. We're almost done. I have no idea where we're going to put these next details. One of the pie pieces we've started, a related pie piece, a brand new oval. I don't know. Let's see. Sometimes there are clear reasons to feel guilty. All right, what's your thinking voice telling you? It's about guilt. We've already got a pie piece on that, don't we? All right, we haven't gotten anything new yet. It's just guilt, so let's keep going. Health Channel fellow Judith will say, said she felt bad about her all-night binge on Sons of Anarchy during the holidays. Okay, wait. Guilt, feel bad, that's related. Okay, because I knew I was supposed to be spending time with my family. Ooh. Okay, so this is all about feelings. Okay, but now we're getting why we feel. What should we have been doing instead? What did she say? Spend time with family. This is related, but it's not about the feelings directly. So spend time with family. I'm going to jot that down in a separate pie piece. Let's see if there's any more that goes with that. Okay, not crouched over my laptop, screaming and crying. All right, so there's guilt, and then there's screaming and crying over a show, for heaven's sakes. All right, I'm jotting that down. All right, but more common response along the lines of what senior editor Jenny Gritz described as a yucky feeling, like my consciousness was being overtaken by the show. I wanted to get back to the real world. All right, spend time with the family. Is the family in the real world? Yes, the family's in the real world. Okay, you guys, we're doing it. We are figuring out how to collect and group details when we don't have subheads. And it's a matter of reading it, thinking, seeing how it's related. There's no answer. It's not a right or wrong, but it is going to help us now summarize this whole article. Yeah. Last lesson, all we did was summarize chunks, one sentence each. Okay. Well, you got this chunk and you got this chunk. I need us to get a sentence out of this and a sentence out of this. All right. And I know you can't read it very well, so I will kind of reiterate what it says as we get ready to do this. But I'll do one and you're going to do one. All right, we're going to do it together. And you do know what we're doing. Each of those ovals is a grouping of details. And a grouping of details, it goes together. And you need to give me just the most important information from that grouping of details in a single sentence. Okay? And so I have DVD sets, TV marathons, Netflix, ketchup. Okay. So I need to say something about what we binge on. Then this whole idea of what is a binge, the definition that it's multiple episodes, that it's not getting up, that it's rapid succession, short period. Okay, so I'm going to use one pie piece at a time. And so I'm going to start with the platforms, what we tend to binge on. Okay, and so I'm going to say binge watching started with, because that was how the article even said it, started with DVD sets and TV marathons. Okay, now wait a minute. I'm not done with this oval, so don't put a period. I won't put a period. All I've done is that pie piece. I've still got to do this pie piece because it's part of this grouping. One sentence for this grouping. All right, so somehow I need to now introduce the definition of a binge. Binge watching started with DVD sets and TV marathons, where viewers or where people would, and now I'm going to pull on some of those details, would watch multiple episodes in rapid succession, all in one sitting. Boom. That took care of the second pie piece. And once I've done the pie pieces, I'm done. But bam, I just did it. All right, now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. We've got another set of details. Now yours has 3 pie pieces, but I'll help you out. All right, how many sentences are we writing? 1. This idea that we're going to summarize this whole thing, this whole article, in essentially 2 sentences. Talk about a summary. We're getting it way down, aren't we? Well done. All right, but we didn't do it yet. So remember, our goal now is to take this second category, second grouping here, and turn it into a sentence. All right, so let's refresh. What was that all about? All right, well, we got a pie piece on the show freezes and you get that gray box. Are you watching? Okay, and you have to make a decision. We got to say something about that. We got to say something about the guilt, the shaming, the judgment. And we got to say something about not living in the real world, screaming, crying, when you're supposed to be spending time with your family. We got to come up with one sentence that touches on all three of those ideas, all three of those pie pieces. The grouping needs to be represented with a sentence. You got an idea? I'll kick it off. Signs of binge watching. According to this article, signs of binge watching include, give me something from the Are You Watching the box. Okay, signs of binge watching, seeing the Are You Still Watching box. Okay, we'll keep going. And we're going to make a series here, okay? And what's another sign? We had guilt, shaming, judgment. Feeling guilty. And real world, spending time with family, screaming, crying over a show. I need a phrase. I need something. Feeling guilty and look at it again. Spending time, not spending time with family. Not living in the real world. All right. And living in a fantasy world rather than the real world. Period. You just did it. What you just did was read that whole text, figure out what details go together. You built groups out of a text that didn't have subheads. You saw groupings so that you could then use those groupings to highlight the most important information. And you just summarized all of what's on your screen in 2 long sentences, but 2 sentences. Well done. If you were in Mrs. Smecken's class, I would want you to do this again. We have got to get good at this, readers. So I have a second and new article. You haven't seen this one before. It's all on vulgar language. No, it doesn't include a bunch of vulgar language. It's about vulgar language. All right. I want you to read this passage, and I want you to either on scratch paper or you can use the graphic organizer on the next page. Okay, but I want you to read it, and I want you to do just like we did. I just want you to start to read and figure out details that go together, all right, and start to cluster them. And if you're not sure, you can start another pie piece or go to another oval. It's not so much about getting it right, all right, putting things in the right pie piece, but it's about seeing groupings, because each grouping, each pie piece then needs to be represented. It's a highlight. You need to highlight it, touch on it in facets of your sentence summaries, okay? So you're doing a couple things. You're reading the article, collecting the details, and I want you to write sentences. I want a summary set of sentences, and you might have 2 sentences, you might have 3 sentences, you might have 4, but remember, the overall summary should be significantly shorter than the original text. If you were in Mrs. Smecken's class, that's what you'd be doing, but your teacher might have a better idea.